Just don't be alarmed if under the light of this full moon, you seem to be questioning everything you once thought you knew. See, because as the moon shines in Gemini, it's conjunct Jupiter and opposite the sun in Sagittarius, which is highlighting the galactic center right now. And they're also aspecting Neptune in an intense T-square. So you may feel like you're being pulled into a space between dreams and reality. So don't be surprised if you find yourself at a crossroads between clarity and confusion. It's a moment of pause as Mercury stations direct. And if we take this time to tap into the wisdom of Hermes, this is truly a lunation that can manifest your thoughts into form. So that's the big picture story. But let's get into the details so that you know exactly what you're working with. And I'm excited to show you something that just might blow your mind. So grab your tea, a journal, or just sit back and let's explore what this celestial moment has in store for us. And I totally just wanted to be on the swing and nice and comfy today, so we'll see how this goes. Hello, my cosmic soul family. Welcome to Stella Sage, your channel for spiritual healing, personal growth, and self-discovery through the wisdom of the stars. If you're new here, welcome to our growing family. I'm Bree, a spiritual healer that helps you co-create with the cosmic energy through the study of Western astrology. My favorite thing to do is to call out all the synchronicities in each lunation, which ends up weaving us through its cosmic message. And let me just say, this one is truly magical. So if this sounds like your vibe, then be sure to subscribe. And help me spread the love by feeding the algorithm with likes and more star siblings with light. And thank you. It really means the world to me. So today, we're inspired by the dynamic energy of the Gemini full moon, happening on December 15th, exacting at 23 degrees at 9:01 a.m. Universal Time. Or here in Chicago, that's 3:01 Central Time. This lunation is here to illuminate the power of duality, divine communication, and intellectual clarity. So let's start with the basics. A full moon always represents illumination, culmination, and release. During this phase of the lunar cycle, the sun and the moon sit opposite each other from one of the 6 axial pairings of the zodiac. This lunation is highlighting the Gemini-Sagittarius axis, the bridge between information and wisdom. This time each year, the sun transits the Jupiter-ruled fire sign Sagittarius, sparking themes of optimism, expansion, and exploration. And at some point during this transit, we'll illuminate the moon in Gemini, creating a full moon in this mutable air sign, known for communication, curiosity, and adaptability. This year, that's happening on Sunday, December 15th, bringing this energy to its peak, and will follow by a 2-week period where the energy slowly dissolves to begin anew, calling forth the structure of Capricorn to take over. Gemini is the 3rd sign in the zodiac and is ruled by Mercury, the planet of communication, intellect, and mental agility. Mercury is known in Greek mythology as Hermes, aka the messenger of the gods, thanks to his speed, adaptability, and cleverness. Hermes is the god of communication, commerce, and travel. He's portrayed as a trickster with a light-hearted, quick-witted personality. As a messenger, Hermes embodies the essence of fast-paced communication and the crossing of boundaries, both physical and intellectual. His attributes reflect the mercurial energy of being able to navigate various realms effortlessly, from the material to the spiritual. And you'll see, this is a key theme in this lunation. Mercury rules over both Gemini and Virgo, influencing how we think, speak, and process information. Gemini energy thrives in environments that stimulate the mind and encourage interaction. All air signs are known for their analytical thinking and desire to exchange ideas. Gemini's mind is constantly in motion, jumping from one idea to the next, which makes them excellent problem solvers, but sometimes prone to distractions. Social media is the embodiment of Gemini energy. As a mutable sign, Gemini energy is versatile, open to change, and has a knack for juggling multiple tasks at once. While this makes Gemini incredibly resourceful and flexible, it can also make them appear restless or inconsistent. Geminis are known to change their minds often and can struggle with commitment, hence getting labeled two-faced. Yet, this label is quite fitting for another reason. The sign itself is represented by the twins, Castor and Pollux, highlighting the dual nature of the sign. Intellectually and emotionally multifaceted, with the ability to shift perspectives. Overall, Gemini embodies duality, versatility, and a constant quest for new experiences and knowledge. In my last video, we talked about the Gemini-Sagittarius axis in great detail, understanding their energy in comparison with the 3rd house to the 9th house. In other words, the lower mind versus the higher mind. I recommend watching that video first because all of that energy is what's now culminating, so still highly relevant, but I'll briefly touch on some of it again here. The Sagittarius new moon initiated us into this lunar cycle, and in that video, we explored many synchronicities, one of which being the ironic twist of Mercury and Jupiter, both currently transiting retrograde from each other's domains, amongst a plethora of synchronistic numerology also involved. So really, it shouldn't be a surprise that in this lunation, the synchronicities seem to be seamlessly picking up where they left off. But this is truly mind-blowing, which is quite theme appropriate, I might add. Mercury and Gemini thrive on details and patterns. So messages, symbols, and conversations around this time could hold significant meaning. But if you just skim the surface, you'll easily miss the point. So get ready, because I'm going to throw some numbers at you and layer it with the extra deep symbolism of tarot to help explain. What I'm about to show you is really so fucking cool. After I realized this, there was no possible way that I could just sit quiet about it and not tell anyone. So join me down this rabbit hole. But first, I have to say, there is way too many details to call out all of the symbolism involved, but the cards I'm using explain their general meanings on them, so you can screenshot this and zoom in if you're curious to learn more. But see, I kind of feel like this is the perfect Gemini mind game exercise because it's just like connecting all the random dots of this cosmic conversation and going down all these, ooh, I just spilled everywhere. Like going down all these side tangents that just like lead to this like mind-blowing, like, this is crazy. You'll see, this is crazy. At least I think so. If I'm alone on this, I think I'm going crazy, literally. But, okay. So after we weave together all of the pieces, we'll digest its meaning together alongside the current astrological transits, like the normal way that most astrologers do. But this just seems more fun. I mean, having a natal Mercury retrograde sandwiched between a 5-planet stellium in my 3rd house, this kind of thing just tickles my mind and makes me happy. So hopefully I don't lose you with too much info, and instead I make it just fun and easy for you to follow along. But feel free to leave your critiques in the comments either way. I really don't know how this is gonna go. So like I said, this full moon is a culmination of that Sagittarius new moon, which occurred at 9 degrees of the 9th sign of the zodiac. And in numerology is a number associated with completion, manifestation, and universal love, which are 3 key themes repeated throughout this lunar moment. So just a bit more background. This lunar cycle began with the new moon occurring on December 1st, a universal 3-day, at 12:21 a.m., highlighting the numbers 9, 12, 1, 2, and 3. And in numerology, the number 3 is associated with the planet Jupiter, the ruler of Sagittarius. Now, this lunation is the final full moon of 2024. a universal 8-year taking place on the 15th of December, an 8-day, from the third sign of the zodiac at 23 degrees of Gemini. And the numerology reduces to the single digit of 5, the number associated with what planet? None other than the planetary ruler of this lunation, Mercury, which just so happens to be stationing direct on the same day as its full moon. But not only that, as the closest planet to the sun, do you know how many days it takes Mercury to complete its orbit? Ironically enough, it takes 88 Earth days. Well, it sure seems like the trickster has been enjoying himself lately. So we're beginning to see some numbers take hold, right? So let's begin this journey with the Magician card, as it is number 1 in the major arcana and is associated with the planet Mercury. The themes of this card show up strong in this full moon, which is super exciting because this is one of my favorite cards in tarot. See, the Magician card represents manifestation, resourcefulness, and the power to turn ideas into reality by harnessing one's skills, willpower, and inner potential. There's definitely more to say about the message of the Magician, but we will circle back to it at the end. Now, there are only 2 cards out of the entire deck that show the infinity symbol floating above the head of the person on the card, representing limitless potential and the infinite nature of the universe. The other card is the Strength card, which happens to be the number 8 in the major arcana. The infinity symbol is widely associated with this number, not only because of its shape, but also its energy. See, in numerology, 8 symbolizes power, abundance, authority, and the balance between the material and the spiritual realms. And as stated before, this lunation is happening on an 8-day during a universal 8-year and takes Mercury 88 days to orbit the sun. Speaking of the sun, the Strength card is associated with the zodiac sign Leo and represents inner power, courage, compassion, and resilience, which basically is a perfect description of the energy of Mars retrograde, which just so happens to be his current state of being in none other than the sign Leo. Mars is retrograde at 5 degrees Leo and is forming a trine to Mercury at 6 degrees Sagittarius, and is also opposing Venus in Aquarius during this lunation, which again, lots more to say about that, but we'll also be circling back in a bit to do so. But now, how crazy is this? So, in the vast majority of tarot decks, the Strength card is numbered 8, per the popular Rider-Waite tarot deck, produced in 1909. But in earlier tarot decks, it was actually associated with number 11. And these are the only 2 cards out of the entire deck that have this historical discrepancy. Nowadays, the 11 card is more commonly associated with the Justice card, which aligns with the energy of Libra, symbolizing fairness, truth, and moral accountability. Like Gemini and Aquarius, Libra is the 3rd sign connected to the element of air, and just so happens to be ruled by Venus. Speaking of Venus, Taurus is the other zodiac sign ruled by this planet. And now look how visually similar the Justice card is compared to the Hierophant card. A card that is associated with this earth sign. And what number is this card? Number 5. And remember, the number 5 is the condensed energy of the degree of this full moon, and also associated with the planet Mercury, according to numerology. Now, at first look, I wouldn't pair the energy of the Hierophant with the numerology of 5. To me, it feels more like the energy of the number 9, as this card represents tradition, spiritual teachings, structure, and the pursuit of wisdom through established systems, beliefs, or mentors. Very Jupiterian 9th house energy. But we'll see just how related these themes are to the overall message of this full moon. But for now, what makes this so fascinating is because of what else this number points to. In numerology, the number 5 represents freedom, adventure, versatility, and the pursuit of change and personal growth. Personally, I have a fondness for the energy of number 5 because, well, it's my life path number. But it's also associated with the 5th sign of the zodiac. Once again, calling our attention to Leo. And my natal moon also happens to be at 5 degrees Leo. But enough about me. What else did I say is currently transiting this degree? Mars retrograde. Okay, now, if you're not impressed by these synchronicities yet, then I'm impressed by the magical life that you must live. But anywho, just sit tight because we've still got a couple more of these clues to uncover. Okay, so there are 3 cards out of the entire deck that have the person sitting between 2 pillars. And that is the Justice card, the Hierophant card, and also the High Priestess card, which seems to connect the 2 together in more ways than one. Just in a way that's slightly more abstract. A word that, though unintentionally, actually fits the energy of this card rather well. See, this card is associated with the moon, which is exalted in the sign Taurus, meaning it feels at home in the sign, while not actually being at home in its sign Cancer. Then there's the fact that the High Priestess is number 2 in the major arcana. But what does the Roman numeral of 2 look like? Number 11, which happens to be a number that is highly connected to the themes of the High Priestess card. In numerology, 11 is a master number that symbolizes intuition, spiritual insight, enlightenment, and the ability to inspire and guide others towards higher consciousness. Very similar to this card. But that is the number of the Justice card. So what about the numerology of the number 2? 2 represents balance, harmony, partnership, and the power of cooperation and diplomacy. So again, sounds very similar to Libra and Venus. But something else that lit up for me when I was looking at all of this is how this card just so happens to be known as the feminine counterpart to the Magician card. The High Priestess is a card that invites you to trust your inner voice and explore hidden knowledge. 2 words that scream Gemini. Okay. I don't know why this keeps happening. Like, last week when I was doing this, I was making a triangle, which has symbolism also that I want to try to get into the conversation because it comes back up in a really key way. But anyway, I kept going like this, and then, yeah, that's what I was doing. It's like putting out hearts. I'm like, I have no idea. Like, I've got Mercury retrograde, like I said. So me and technology just, I don't actually get along with it. So, I don't know how these settings work and what is going on. But yeah, that, I guess I said scream. Balloons? All right. Well, I don't know what set that off, but let's try this again. So the High Priestess is a card that invites you to trust your inner voice and explore hidden knowledge. two words there that scream Gemini: voice and knowledge. Now, this one might get a little too abstract, but at least for me, when I look at the Roman numeral of the number 2, I can't help but see the glyph of Gemini. Is that just me? Well, again, with the irony, seeming how the moon herself is illuminating this very sign at the moment, and seems to be connecting all of these apparently random hidden facts, but related topics, together. Doesn't get any more Gemini than that. Oh, but we're not even done yet. But we're almost there. So, speaking of counterparts, the moon represents our femininity, or in other words, our internal, dark, and subconscious yin energy. Whereas the sun is to our masculinity, or the external, the light of consciousness, yang energy. Which again, drawing us back to Leo, the sign ruled by the sun, and is shining a spotlight on Mars, another planet that represents divine masculine energy. Which I also just realized that Mars is the traditional ruler of the sign Scorpio, the 8th sign of the zodiac. Oh my god, is this crazy? Okay. I really feel like I'm going crazy. Like, how is this possible? But anyway, Mars is another planet that represents divine masculine energy, which just so happens to be currently sitting in an opposition with his very own counterpart, Venus. So all of this sure seems to be calling our attention to the polarities between masculine and feminine energy. So I totally forgot to put my earrings in that I wanted to wear for this, and this part just reminded me of it. So they're little hearts. I had to stop and put them in. Speaking of my outfit, oh, there's a stain on this. I don't know if you can see that. Hopefully you can't see that. Anyway, this is a hoodie that I sell. So if you like it, you can get your own on my website at stellasage.com. It says, "May the galaxies dance, illuminate my destiny." I love it. So fitting with all the planets. Yeah, it's fun. And clearly, I believe in this stuff. Clearly, after seeing all this, it's hard to deny that astrology is real. Am I right? I love it. I think it's so cool. Anyway, so back to this story. Only a few more points to make before we talk about the transits. So let's look deeper into Mercury's clever message with all of this. So now, get this. In astrology, Mars and Venus are known as the cosmic lovers, hence the heart-shaped earrings. These two celestial bodies only meet in the sky every 2 to 3 years on average. And this year, during the month of love, just shortly after Valentine's Day on February 22nd, none other than the 222 portal. This cosmic duo came into conjunction at 6 degrees Aquarius, while the moon sat opposite them in Leo. So the number 6 is important here. Not only does 222 add up to 6, but this Gemini full moon culminates on the 15th of the month, the same day its planetary ruler, Mercury, stations direct at 6 degrees Sagittarius. And also on this day, the cosmic lovers happen to now be at a point in their synodic cycle where they are opposing one another. Mars now in Leo, while Venus is back in Aquarius. And I can't help but notice her seeming to nod to Sagittarius energy as she sits at 9 degrees. Okay, but are you ready for the cherry on top? Drumroll, please. I'm such a dork. But who cares? I love this. This is so fucking cool. Whatever. Don't hate. So the sixth card in the major arcana is associated with the sign Gemini. And what card is that? Well, it's none other than the lovers themselves. The lovers card is about, well, obviously love, but it's also about balance and alignment, both within our relationships and within oneself. It represents choices and duality. In numerology, the number 6 symbolizes love, harmony, nurturing, responsibility, and service to others. We see similar energy in the 6th sign of the zodiac, Virgo, the earth sign also ruled by Mercury. Now, it always takes 6 months for the moon to culminate in each sign. And guess what day the Gemini full moon occurred this year? It was June 6th. The 6-6 portal. Seriously, I cannot make this shit up. Like, go look for yourself. Like, look up these dates. I'm not fucking lying. I know, I'm speechless. So I started creating these videos at the beginning of this year. And as the year progressed, I noticed Mars and Venus seeming to repeat this message and thread it through the astrological transits throughout the year. A message that was seeming to highlight the importance of both understanding and balancing the masculine and feminine energies within ourselves. I believe it's why the topic of gender fluidity became such a prominent focus in society, especially so this year. But see, through the study of Mercury, we learn its key to manifestation. So circling back to the first card, the Magician, we understand why this card is associated with this planet. See, almost every planet in astrology is associated with a gender. However, Mercury's gender is considered neutral or dual in astrology, symbolizing both the yin receptive and the yang active qualities. In mythology, Mercury or Hermes is a male deity. However, Mercury's role as a boundary crosser, moving between worlds, Olympus, Earth, and the underworld, lends it an androgynous or fluid quality. The principle of Hermes is at the core of alchemy, which squarely aims at transformation. In alchemy, Mercury, or Quicksilver, is a symbol of transformation and union of opposites, often depicted as containing both feminine and masculine energies. It represents the mind and its ability to transcend binary distinctions, reflecting this gender-neutral essence. Although the law of gender and the law of polarity are intimately intertwined, it's important to realize that either gender contains both polarities simultaneously. Both polarities are equally powerful, yet equally limited when separated. As we bring energetic synthesis between the gender principles, we also synthesize the forces of polarity into neutrality, or one. Complete power. And this is the evolutionary journey of the ascension process that merges our physical self with our spiritual bodies, and ultimately God, or the single source of all that is. And we become the creator. Somehow, Mercury skillfully unites these opposing principles and produces harmony. See, Mercury's energy is omnipresent. It connects and makes principles communicate. The Magician emphasizes the power of communication. Effective articulation of thoughts and desires is crucial for manifesting desires into physical form. This card reminds us that we have all the tools we need to create our desired reality by harnessing the power of synthesizing polarities, setting our intentions, taking action, and communicating effectively. We can bridge the gap between the spiritual and the material worlds and bring our dreams to life. Hermes is said to have written the Hermetica, a collection of ancient and medieval works that laid the foundation for Hermeticism, a philosophical system with topics such as alchemy, astrology, medicine, and the quest for spiritual perfection. He is also credited with originating the phrase, as above, so below, as within, so without, which is essentially what the Magician card embodies. As the figure stands confidently with one hand pointing to the sky and the other to the earth, this gesture signifies the ability to channel divine energy and manifest it into the physical world. This phrase captures the principle of correspondence in Hermetic philosophy, which states that there is a connection between all levels of existence, from the spiritual to the physical. As above, so below means what happens in heaven, i.e. the higher realms, is reflected in what happens on earth. As within, so without means your inner thoughts and emotions manifest your external actions and circumstances, signifying the idea that the macrocosm, or the universe, mirrors the microcosm, the individual, meaning that what happens on a large scale is reflected in our personal lives and vice versa. Essentially, our inner world manifests in our outer reality, and the celestial realm reflects the earthly one. So thinking of the symbolism of a mirror image, we can see how it represents reflection, self-awareness, and duality. It can signify the process of introspection, looking inwards to understand one's true self, as well as the idea of opposites or balance, which is why the High Priestess card is combined with the Magician card, because so much of our inner world is subconscious. And so we have to look behind the veil to see how what we are doing is creating what we experience, what we think, what we believe, our reactions to things. We need to bring it into the light of consciousness and balance our energy. In spiritual contexts, it may also point to the concept of seeing one's own soul reflected in others or in the universe, inviting a deeper understanding of personal growth and interconnectedness. A concept at the core of twin flame connections. Through the study of astrology, we begin to see the symbol of the twins as a reminder of the dual nature inherent in all of us. But speaking of mirror image, I mentioned that Sagittarius new moon came to exact at 12:21 a.m. Central Time. And by the looks of that, it seems the number 12 is asking us to take another look. And it's funny because I told you how during the recording of that video, I was talking about the triangle, and when I did this, hearts came out. And now I'm seeing the hearts everywhere, like the Lover's card and, the symbolism of that. But also, the triangle has something to say, and when I did that, I looked at my computer and I noticed the time, and just as that happened, it was 1:11 on the clock. And so, I put on the screen what 111 and it's like, make a wish. But anyway, that's besides the point. But just another synchronicity that was like crazy. But speaking of which, now this is like chicken scratch. I might like put something over the screen to make this look a little bit better. But that made me think of, 111, three sides of triangle. And I can go into explain all of the, symbolism of the triangle and how, when the point is up, then it represents masculine energy. And when the point is down, it represents feminine energy. But it also has to do a lot with manifestation and balance with mind, body, and spirit. And this just made me think there are three kind of counter energies going on here, with these oppositions. So mind, you see this? As above, like Sagittarius, higher mind. So below, Mercury, the lower mind. As within, the moon. So without, the sun. That's your spirit, your vitality. And body, Mars and Venus, masculine and feminine. Physical creation. So, three main things that just stand out. Balance, change, magical manifestation. and coming back to change, and the number 5, and the triangle, and balance. Makes me think of the Temperance card, which is number 14, but 5. And it has the triangle on her robe, whatever that's called. And she has cups in her hands, which is about emotions, love. So, and, it's associated with the sign Sagittarius. So it's just like, that's really cool, right? Please tell me I'm not alone on this. Okay, but then back to the numbers. So let's look at 12 too, because in astrology, this number is associated with the sign Pisces, traditionally ruled by Jupiter, and now Neptune is its modern ruler. And if you recall, at the start of this video, I mentioned that the luminaries are forming a T-square with Neptune and Pisces. So let's follow the wisdom of the Hanged Man, associated with Neptune and the sign Pisces, and is the number 12, and reduces to the number 3. Okay, so I'm just going to read you the words on the card. So the key words on this card are pause, surrender, letting go, new perspective, enlightenment, viewing things different than before, deep insight, sacrifice, change, release. Like, wow, because basically every single one of those words discusses the transits during this time in different ways and different planets and all of that. But before we get there, I do want to talk a little bit more about the number 12, because I think it will help us get into more of the Piscean energy and Neptune influence that's going on here, which has a lot to do with it. So 12, when reduced to a single digit, its essence is linked to the energy of the number 3, which represents creativity, self-expression, and growth. This makes 12 both grounded in structure, 12 itself, but also uplifting with the optimistic and dynamic qualities of the number 3. And as stated before, the number 3 correlates to both Gemini, with the 3rd house, and Jupiter, the planet that governs this number in numerology, and also the traditional ruler of the 12th sign of the zodiac, Pisces. 12 can be divided by 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12, and still equal a whole number, reflecting both balance and versatility. It's harmonious and adaptable, combining the individuality of number 1 with the duality of number 2 to form a greater unity. In numerology, the number 12 carries profound spiritual, symbolic, and practical meanings. It's a number of completion, harmony, and divine order, often representing a whole system or cycle. We can see how this number correlates to completeness because how it governs major cycles in nature, like 12 months in a year. We also use 12 in other systems of measurement, such as 12 inches in a foot, 12 hours on a clock, reinforcing its association with structure and order. And spiritually, the number 12 represents cosmic order and the structure of creation. Hence, its use across religious, spiritual, and cultural systems, such as 12 zodiac signs in astrology, the 12 apostles in Christianity, 12 Olympian gods in Greek mythology, and the 12 tribes of Israel in the Bible. 12 often relates to achieving a higher state of awareness or completion of a spiritual journey. For instance, 12 steps in a recovery program symbolize a path to enlightenment, or the human experience through the 12 archetypes and zodiacal houses in astrology. In sacred geometry, 12 represents perfection and divine order. Seen in the dodecagon, I don't know if I said that right, but it's a 12-sided polygon said to symbolize the unity of spirit and matter. It represents a closed, perfect system. Similar to the number 9, this number governs endings and beginnings. As a complete system, 12 also symbolizes learning and growth, whether it's mastering knowledge or passing it on, which makes me think of the Hierophant card and why I said that card reminds me of the number 9. So back to us talking about the 12th sign of the zodiac, Pisces, and the ruler Neptune squaring this Gemini full moon. Well, I hope you at least found that tangent down the esoteric rabbit hole to be ironically insightful, to say the least. and hopefully a bit entertaining as well. But now, no. Okay, apparently, this video didn't think so. Well, that's not a good sign. How rude. Well, I did say to leave critiques. So, thanks, Hermes. Mercury. Okay. So, back to talking about the 12th house, the 12th sign of the zodiac, Pisces. So, right, Neptune is creating a T-square to the moon, which is conjunct Jupiter in Gemini, and the sun, which is conjunct the galactic center. So, what's the memo for that, right? What does all of this mean for us on a personal level? Well, let's decode these energies together and explore how you can work with them for your highest alignment. So this aspect is a potent mix of curiosity and illusion, intellect and intuition, clarity and confusion. Neptune represents the realms of spirituality, imagination, and compassion, but also involves deception and confusion. It's a planet that dissolves boundaries, leaving us open to profound spiritual insights or to losing ourselves in fantasy, denial, or escapism. So this energy can manifest in one of two ways. Neptune squares can trigger periods of spiritual confusion or awakening. With Gemini's sharp intellect and Neptune's dreamy haze in Pisces, we are being pulled between facts and fiction. The influence of Neptune's ethereal nature can increase psychic sensitivity, intuition, and empathy. So you could experience heightened emotions, vivid dreams, or deep spiritual insights. But there's also a potential to misread situations. Intuition and imagination can inspire, but illusions or wishful thinking can be in effect right now. So just be mindful of jumping to conclusions or believing everything that you hear at this time. Instead, take a step back, breathe, and trust that the truth will reveal itself in divine timing. This energy asks us to explore the stories that we tell ourselves and to open ourselves up to uncover hidden truths. This transit might provoke a period where you question your beliefs, or you might experience a sense of disillusionment with previously held ideals. So some questions you'll want to think about are you clinging to an illusion or avoiding an uncomfortable truth? How is the media that you consume forming your beliefs? Is your energy too scattered to manifest what you truly desire? This full moon may bring about these sorts of revelations, but Neptune's influence suggests that they won't be crystal clear at first glance. The square might manifest as overwhelming or scattered emotions with an increased potential to absorb others' energies without realizing it. You might also feel a lack of clarity about your life purpose or direction. As Gemini thrives on variety and curiosity, it makes it hard to settle on one path or perspective. With the moon near Jupiter at 15 degrees Gemini, this can amplify emotions, ideas, and opportunities. This can be both positive and negative because, well, Jupiter loves to expand everything it touches, so expect big revelations, heightened curiosity, and perhaps a touch of overthinking. The square challenges you to balance fantasy and practicality, pushing you to clarify your desires and focus on what is truly meaningful. With Mercury stationed, its energy is more intense than usual. This is a pause between retrograde reflection and direct motion. So patience is still required before everything flows again smoothly. The retrograde likely forced you to revisit past conversations, ideas, or issues. And since full moons are about release, with Mercury turning direct, it adds closure to old conversations, thought patterns, or ways of communicating that no longer serve you. It's now time to apply what you've learned and move forward. The mental chatter of Gemini harmonizes with Mercury's direct station to help us sort through the mental clutter. The ideas and insights that arise now might feel more aligned and actionable. This is a time for mental recalibration, preparing ourselves for forward motion. With the Gemini full moon illuminating insights and Mercury direct helping us make sense of them, when Mercury changes direction, it's like the cosmos hitting the reset button on how we think, speak, and process information. This is a potent moment for a positive breakthrough in your mindset. It's the perfect opportunity to speak your truth, realign with your goals, and set the stage for the next chapter in your journey. But remember, the Gemini moon is squaring Neptune in Pisces. So while clarity is emerging, Neptune may still cloud things. Even with Mercury direct, be cautious about jumping to conclusions or overanalyzing situations. With Mars retrograde in Leo opposing Venus in Aquarius, the energy is reminding you of your inner power and your ability to create in a more receptive nature versus forcing things to happen. On a positive side, this is an excellent time for artistic or spiritual pursuits. The tension can open the door for creative inspiration, deep compassion, or a stronger connection to the subconscious. By combining emotional intensity, inspired vision, and spiritual alignment, this configuration can help you to manifest with creativity, purpose, and expansive potential. This is further enhanced by the sun moving closer in conjunction with the galactic center at 27 degrees Sagittarius. The galactic center is like a cosmic hotspot for immense energy, symbolizing higher wisdom, downloads of spiritual insight, and profound expansion of consciousness. When the sun, representing self-awareness and vitality, aligns with this point, it can bring a surge of inspiration, a feeling of being connected to something larger than yourself, deep spiritual insights or revelations about your life path, and a call to align more closely with your truth or higher purpose, leading to a profound spiritual awakening or growth in your soul's evolution. This configuration offers a powerful combination of visionary imagination with Neptune, expansive emotional energy with the moon conjunct Jupiter, and alignment with the divine purpose, Sun conjunct the galactic center. But be aware that under this transit, not everything is as it seems. Trust your instincts, but don't rely on them exclusively. Look for evidence and clarity before making any big decisions. And remember to protect yourself from emotional overwhelm by limiting your exposure to negative influences or overly chaotic environments. So does this alignment resonate with anything that you've been navigating lately? This could very well feel like a cosmic green light moment. And if so, then make sure to seize it. This Gemini full moon is asking us to embrace curiosity while staying grounded in truth. Hi, Binksy. No. With the sun in Sagittarius and the moon conjunct Jupiter, our emotions and ideas may feel larger than life. This is a beautiful time to dream big, but also to fact check those dreams. Mercury stationing direct brings forward momentum in communication and decision making, but Neptune's influence reminds us to discern between truth and illusion. Be mindful of wishful thinking, misinformation, or overly idealized narratives that could lead you astray. But apart from that, Gemini inspires us to seek balance, embrace our multifaceted selves, and remain open to the ever-changing flow of life. So I hope you were able to see the tapestry of all the threads woven together to tell a magical story about this truly powerful lunation. Full moons are always formidable moments for reflection, release, and revelation. But this one feels especially potent. With the Gemini full moon square Neptune, the key is to get curious, stay grounded, and trust the process. You don't have to have all of the answers right now. Sometimes simply asking the right questions is enough. Look at life holistically and understand how small actions contribute to larger cycles. Find that balance between individual effort with partnerships and teamwork. And don't be scared to recognize when it's time to complete one cycle and begin anew. And remember, Always be mindful of your thoughts and choose your words wisely, because they are forming your reality as you speak. So let me know in the comments how you're feeling under this energy. Are you noticing themes of clarity, confusion, or heightened intuition? Let me know. I'm curious. If you enjoyed this video, then don't forget to like, subscribe for more, and share it with anyone you might think will resonate with these messages. And until next time, stay curious, and don't forget to shine bright, my star siblings. The world needs your light. Much love from your sage sister.